if you're working on the daylight hours throughout the year lab and you're getting to procedure number 2 where it says to graph the date versus the daylight, which means you filled out this chart. So here's your Google Sheets that you opened up. It says daylight hours throughout the year, but it also has your name attached to that. January 3rd was given to you. On January 3rd, there's 9 hours and 4 minutes of daylight. Be real careful when you type this in, that if you write 9 hours, 4 minutes like that, it will not work. You have to put that leading 0 for the minutes. So 9 hours, 4 minutes like that. Be really careful about that. As you fill out the others, just make sure you spell the names of the months correctly. So February 14th, you would go to a website and figure out how many daylight hours and minutes there are on that day. Maybe it jumps up to 9 hours and 12 minutes. I'm not sure what it is. That's what you have to go and find out. But eventually you're going to have all of this data filled out. So don't use these numbers that you see here. I just made those up. Please make sure you go into the website for step number 1, procedure number 1, and you're filling this data in properly. Do not use these numbers. I just have these there to show you how to make the graph. So in procedure number 2, it says A, highlight your data, including the headings. Highlighting your data, including the headings, is everything inside this pink box. So I'm going to take my mouse, I'm going to click and drag down like this. I've highlighted all of that data. You could also use your keyboard to do it. So I click in that box and I hold down the shift button, and then I use the arrow keys all the way down and over to highlight my data. So the first step is to highlight your data. The second step, B, says to choose chart under the insert menu. Choose chart under the insert menu. Here are the menus for Google Sheets up here. Under insert menu, once I've had my data highlighted, I choose chart. When I click on that, the computer will automatically create a graph for me. I don't have to take out any graph paper and do it. I don't have to worry about what the X and the Y axes are going to be. The computer automatically generates a graph for you. Your next step is to choose a line chart type and customize your chart. So this one already created a line. It might create a bar graph for you, or it might create a bar and line. Make sure that you choose a line graph. For most of us, it will be the first one that shows up. Whether it's a smooth line or a straight line is up to you. The next thing is to customize. And to customize your chart, you come over here to the right-hand side where it says customize. And you could change the style, the background of the chart, the border of the chart. There's just a lot of things that you can do to change the look of your chart, both the titles, the axes, the series, the color of the line, whether you see the markers or not, whether they're circles or stars. So there's a lot that you can do to change the chart. If you're clicking on the chart, you can also resize it to change the size. You can change the number of grid lines. The last direction, procedure 3 says to paste your graph below. You'll see there's a spot that says paste your graph here. To do that, you click on your graph. There's 3 buttons in the top right, and you can copy the chart. So I copy the chart. Then I come over here and I can right mouse click and hit paste, or I could just hit Control V, or I can come up and do edit paste. It'll ask you whether you want the spreadsheet linked or unlinked. Choose the one where it's linked. This means if you go back and you make any changes to this chart, it'll automatically link and show up in your lab. So you hit paste, If you want, you could resize it from there. But any changes that happen from here, if you want to make a change to this graph, if you make the change here and double click the graph to make that change, that'll then show up after you reset or hit update here.